My name is Mohammed Razaq, and this is my story in relation to the Colourful Heritage Project. According to my parents, I was born on the 4th of March 1955, and I have no way of formally recognizing that as the correct date because I don't have a birth certificate. I was born in a village called Andraklan, in a place called Islamgarh in Mirpur, Azad Kashmir, which is part of Pakistan. I left Pakistan when I was 10 years old, and before coming to the UK with my family, my mother and my sister and my brothers, I had no schooling. I had no religious instructions, and I was a goat herder until I came here. Okay. Well, initially we had to travel from Mirpur on a train on the floor of this. There was no seats, I remember. We had to sit on the floor from Jhelum. I think from Mirpur we took the bus to Jhelum, and from Jhelum we took the train to Karachi. And I remember that we just sat. I don't remember how long it was. I know it was quite a long time, but I don't remember how. So from there, we boarded the plane after a week or a week and a half and came to, I think it was London at the time. So when we arrived, my dad had already bought a house for us. Enterprising. He had already bought a house for us. And when I was there, the first day, as we came in, it was snowing. It was really thinged with snow. And my brother, I don't know if it was my cousin or somebody else that was already in the UK, said, let's go to the corner shop. So I followed, I was the youngest, so I followed them to the shop. And then they bought something, I think it was ice cream or something, ice lolly or something at that time. Anyway, they gave me one, and they came out to the shop, and I was still awed by the shop, you know how you kind of look about. And by the time I came out of the shop, my brother and my cousin had ran into the house. And when I came out, I didn't know which way to go. I had a rough idea which direction we came back down from. Because I couldn't read or write, I didn't know which number of that. I didn't know the number anyway. Even if I knew the number, I wouldn't have been, but I didn't know which house it was. So I leaned against this door and started crying. And a couple of minutes later, that actual door opened. It was our house, but I didn't know. So that I remember that very vividly, with the snow and everything. It was very cold. So that's the first thing I remember about, coming to the UK. I loved school. I loved school because I hadn't been to a school before that. So I loved school. I was 10, so I went into a primary school, and I loved school, and I started to learn very, very quickly. I was a fast learner. That's what I understand anyway. Within, 6 months or a year, languages wasn't a problem. You certainly feel that you're visibly different. Definitely. You were a Paki. Nobody let you forget that, whenever you went out. It's, as I says, within our own area, it was quite comfortable because there was quite a mix, ethnic minorities and the indigenous community. But outside that, there won't be a time you go into the city centre that somebody didn't shout at you or didn't say Paki or nigger or something like that, So it was a routine thing that was happening at the time. And what do you do? This family, the Jaffries, they said, we're offering you this business. It's not very expensive. I think it was £5,000 at the time. So I phoned my dad up in Huddersfield saying, we've got this place. We should purchase it. He says, who's going to work in it in the first place? I says, I'll work in it. I loved it. Although it was hard getting up in the morning when we had newsagents, 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, especially during the winter, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was lovely. It was great. Family life was very difficult, I must say. When I say family life, because being kind of third youngest in the family, I had 3 elder brothers. And my dad kind of, when we were kind of successful, my dad retired very early in his age. So my eldest brother took charge of the family really here. And it was, although life was okay, but it was terrible in one sense that you couldn't really think for yourself. I don't know if I'm explaining. Everything was told to you, you need to do this and you need to do this and you can't go out and you can't do this and you can't do this. But I think culturally, the culture you come from is about listening to your elders and, you know, making sure that they're happy and things like that. So you didn't question anything they said, but you did feel it though. Because now my children, for instance, are a lot more independent in that sense. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I would say they may not do, never mind their uncles. You know? So the younger children are different, and we were brought up to respect elders and, you know, listen to what they have to say. It doesn't matter what it was. And I honestly, I still, if my brother asked me to do something now, I would still do it. From 1987 or 88 to 91, I was in Pakistan, helping with the business there. And what I seen there, as I said, you know, Allah was very great to us, honest, as a family. Money and anything we done was as a success. We never failed at anything. I'll just let you know, inshallah. And when I went there and I seen the treatment of the elderly and the less fortunate there, you know, the poor, really terrible. And I was thinking to myself, a country where Islam is supposed to be the faith, and people are treating elderly. I mean, most people treat their own elderly well, don't get me wrong, but it's others that they didn't treat too well. And the poor, and the treatment of the poor was really, really, really bad. So I started to think about, is money the goal? So I started helping people like that there while I was there. So when I came back in 91, I thought that there are people in the world, no matter how rich a country may be or an area may be, there's always people that need support. So when I came back in 91, I thought, not business anymore. I would want to do some of that. So when I came back in 90, I joined, and it was through help of a friend, a father of a friend, who said you should join the local housing association. That's where you can start to help others. So I joined Queen's Cross Housing Association, and that's where my kind of change started to happen. I joined a lot of other organizations, local community council, community centre. Eventually I joined a party, a political party, and I finished my studies in 97. I graduated in 97 after going to college. In terms of politics, as I said, I joined a political party while I was volunteering and all that. People thought you could do a bit more for your community if you joined a political party. You could do a lot more wider. So I joined that, and I was asked in 1996. A friend of, you know, my friend's dad, I'll tell you name, Nawaz Malik, Hanzala Malik's dad, who's Hanzala Malik's an MSP now, if you may know. He had, because we were very, very close friends, he would always say, I want both of you to go into politics. I was certainly not interested in politics, because the family background I came from in Mirpur and Kashmir, politics wasn't a favoured career, if you know what I mean. It didn't seem to be a clean type of work to do. So in 1996, I said, no, I don't want to be selected. And then in 1999, I said, no, I don't want to be selected. So in 2003, Hanzala Malik, who was a councillor in 96, he became a councillor. He went, he listened to his dad, and he was selected and elected in 96. So both of them asked me in 99 and then 99, and I said no. And in 2003, by that time, Mr. Nawaz Malik had passed away, my uncle had passed away, Hanzala's dad had passed away. And then Hanzala asked me, listen, you must come across. I said, I'm doing my job. I love what I do at the Race Equality Council. I've got a full-time job. I'm helping people. What more is the council going to do for me? He says, no, you need to come. I says, no. Then, surprisingly, he sent his mum. And she said, you know, beta, she's white Scottish, Hansla's mum. And she said, you know, beta, my late husband always wanted you two brothers to be, you know, councillors and elected members, and I'm here if you can reconsider. I just couldn't say no. I just couldn't say no. Honestly, I couldn't say. So I said yes. So I was selected and elected in 2003 as a councillor. And now in 2007 again, I was elected. And more recently, in 2012, I was re-elected for Maryhill Kelvin Ward. I am one of now senior councillors in the chambers. I am also a Bailey. I represent the Lord Provost. And also I'm the vice convener of Strathclyde Fire and Rescue. I'm vice convener of Economy and Regeneration, PDC. I chair the area committee. I chair the local TRA, which is Transformational Regeneration Area. I represent the council on 2 housing associations. I'm also on the Strategic Community Planning Partnership for Glasgow. Many others. That's some of the things I remember. I think in different contexts, you will have an identity, depending on what context you're talking about. If you're talking about how I feel at the moment, I feel Scottish, I feel British, and I feel that, you know, there's not a better place to live in the world, to be honest. That's me. But if you talk in the context, if I retire, where would I love to stay? If I could, I would be in Mirpur if I could stay, and you know, but I know that's not going to happen because I've got children and family, and my wife might not accept that. But that was one context.